What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Touchdown with Doug Smith. And folks, you put your seatbelts on because it's going to be a fantastic show. In this episode, I got my co-host, Mike Williams. I also have Adrian and Isaac showing up later in the show. Before I kick anything off or let you guys know what the episode's about, Mike Williams, how you doing today, man?
Good, man. It's been a while. I feel like we haven't got to record together because of scheduling, but it's good to have the fellas back together, man.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. And man, we're gonna talk afterwards, and then also when we're gonna get into the show. And man, I'm really excited to have you on, though, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun, man. And folks, the reason you clicked on the thumbnail, we are gonna take and talk about NFL OTAs. We're not gonna hit every single team, but just some of the main storylines that are throughout the league. We're gonna have a lot of fun in this episode, probably about 30 minutes to an hour long or so. Y'all make sure y'all comment down below, and we're gonna chop it up. But in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and play one of the dopest intros you've ever heard in your life. Shout out to Waylay Creations and Ill Sense Birth for putting this together for you, boy. Really excited, and let me press play and see y'all here in a minute.
Touchdown with Doug Smith, celebrate, that's a new move. Heisman, true views, catch them on YouTube. NFL coverage, interviews, new news, who win, who lose, comedy, you choose. It's not about moolah, the QB's like Tua is missing in action. No L's on my shooter, play it like Marino, it's a gamble like casino. Hungry for it, but you know we still gon' try to feed the people. Rivalries will lead the conference, Cowboys of the Eagles. Will Belichick be a threat, better check. Tomlin on deck, much respect to the vet. What to expect? Gotta tune in for the rest. Make sure to sub, like, check. At the best, bad boy, the sports podcast for the threat across the north, east, south, in the west. Sitting back, clueless, time to tune in. Now another sports center, it's a movement.
Northeast, South, and the West, not another sports center. It's a movement. Ladies and gentlemen, Touchdown Nation, welcome to another episode. If you're just now tuning in, I got my co-host, Mike Williams. Y'all be sure to give him and I a follow on Twitter. Subscribe down below. Let's go. Let's kick off the show. Mike, man, fantastic to have you on the show again, my man. Your Broncos are looking like some Super Bowl competitors right now. And we got Baker Mayfield. He has a chance to possibly start this year. Who would have thought that's going to happen? Kyler Murray has not showed up for his team, the Cardinals. And just a lot of fun stuff happening. You know, Tua's clicking down there in Miami with Tyreek Hill. Jalen Hurts is doing his thing. They're expecting him to have a big year. What's going on in the world of the Denver Broncos, man? Talk to me today, man.
Man, it's been exciting. Obviously, there hasn't been this much buzz since we had a quarterback last, with Peyton Manning, right? Definitely. I mean, I guess I am a Drew Lock fan. I think it's under the right offensive system. He could have been cool, but clearly we didn't have the right offensive system. But having Russ there, the entire energy around the camp, the fan base is completely different, man. And had the opportunity to kind of poke up at like the early camp stuff, man, and it just felt different. It was just really electric. Something that's been really interesting, man, is like obviously we would think offense dominating. The offense is definitely clicking, but with that being said, the tight end position is it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Albert O is like the leader of the clubhouse, but Greg Dulcich, the third round or fourth round tight end we took, has been making phenomenal plays in the receiving game. Definitely has a long ways to go blocking. But the defense actually has been humming. It's been interesting, man. Like Michael Ojemudia, who third-year corner, he was hurt most of last year. I think he had like 2 or 3 picks against Russ, like in OTA so far. Pat Surtain is looking like he's going to be the next Champ Bailey. I called that early, and yeah, man, I'm excited to see what this year is going to look like. And the real question I have as far as the Broncos goes is what's our rotation going to be like for our running backs, right? Because we re-signed Melvin Gordon, which I was like, we didn't have to do that in my opinion. Javonte Williams kind of showed he could be a dog, but I'm interested to see how we're going to split those carries. I do believe they're going to split them, and I'm excited, man. Like this is probably the most excited I've been for a season since Peyton Manning was here.
Yeah, man, y'all are dang near a complete team, and we all know you don't have to even be fully a complete team to even win a Super Bowl, right? Look what happened last year with the Bengals. Obviously, they didn't win the Super Bowl, but man, you were missing a lot of pieces of the puzzle, and to still make it that far is amazing. You have a guy like Russell Wilson, like breathed life. Him going to Denver has really breathed life. I can't get my grammar right, but it's a breath of fresh air for him. It's breathed a lot of life into him, and he has a lot to give for that organization, man. Let me ask you, because obviously we've seen time and time again where a star will take and join the team, and then there's that adjustment period. Have you heard any stories as far as like OTAs right now in Denver, as far as like how he's doing, how he's clicking with his new teammates?
Yeah, the timing has been a little bit off as far as the receivers and him going. He brought them back there. Obviously, we had the little break period. So it says the timing's been a little bit off, but he's just really concentrating from what the coaches are saying, from what he's saying on mastering the offense, so he can make sure everybody's in the right places because it's a completely different offense. But I think, man, like going through OTAs, going through training camp, by the time the preseason ends, I think that'll be our growing phase because, I mean, he flew the entire Broncos offense out to California to work out. He got his compound here in Denver. I heard he's like putting the football field and stuff together on that. So he's been doing a lot of work and a lot of extra work. But I think we'll be fine by the time the season rolls around. And I would legitimately think if Javonte Williams is like the lead back for sure, and it's like a 70-30 split, I believe he has a very good chance of being a top 5 or 6 rusher with that zone offense. It's kind of going back to like the old Mike Shanahan, Gary Kubiak offenses that we won Super Bowls under, and we haven't had a back as talented as Javonte Williams in that system since probably a Clinton Portis. So I'm excited about it, man. I think this could be a real solid year if everything comes together.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And it's again, big things happening over in Denver, man. That was in my humble opinion, that was the biggest offseason move of any team. I'll put Tyreek Hill going to Miami as number 2. But man, that like, who the heck would have thought, man? I knew something was brewing, but I didn't think it'd actually go through. And lo and behold, we had the craziest NFL offseason of all time. So thank you for sharing that.
One more thing that's wild though is like the ownership transition, right? So Rob Walton just bought the Broncos for $4.65 billion, right? He could just write the check, which was crazy. So the amount of resources that we're about to have as an organization, and if we get a new stadium built, which is like one of the top priorities, I think they were talking about like potentially building a new stadium, even though our stadium's only 19 years old. I think if we did renovations, we'd be fine. But he's talking about potentially building a new stadium and getting a Russell's contract done are going to be the top 2 things. But if we do those 2, it would be great to drive up to a Super Bowl in Denver, which is only like, an hour away from where I live, and actually get to watch a Super Bowl be hosted here, which would be the first one I think that's happened. So,
heck yeah, man. Hey, and you know what, man? It's while the tickets are expensive, think about the experience you would have too. I mean, you get to see probably the best show on earth, which is going to be the halftime show. You're going to see celebrities just walking around all around you. And yes, you may have spent $4,000 on that ticket, but you will never forget that day the rest of your life. That's awesome, man. Next one I'm going to take and go over here is Baker Mayfield. According to NFL.com, there's an article right now that says Baker Mayfield excused from Browns mandatory mini camp next week. So next week there's a mandatory mini camp that's going to be happening for the Cleveland Browns, and he's not going to be there. Now, I don't want to dive too much into the Deshaun Watson case, but we got some news about 60-something women being flown in over a year and a half, a lot of shenanigans. Try not to touch that, but we got to think, is the NFL going to suspend this guy, right? Is he? And what – I don't know. There's just a lot of things that are at hand, still way more evidence. What's going on? Have we really heard it all? Have we heard the last? Is it going to get worse from here, right? But moving on, is Baker Mayfield going to be the starting quarterback this year for the Cleveland Browns? So that leads me to say, and then he's not going to be next week. He's not even going to be with the team, And then on top of that, it says here, all players are subject to more than $90,000 in team fines if they are not present during the 3 days of mandatory minicamp. So that may not be a lot of money to him, but man, that's definitely head scratching. What are your thoughts on the whole Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson tobacco?
Yeah, honestly, that's the craziest situation, man. Like the fact that they did, and this is something, Doug, too, like the fines are generally hefty, but the fact that they excused him, I think that waives. I think he's okay on the fines. The flip side, though, is there is a likelihood that not just Deshaun Watson could get suspended, but the Texans could get fined, right? Because allegedly, according to those articles, ESPN that came out and stuff, is the team would like rent rooms for Deshaun Watson and supply him with non-disclosure agreements. If that's the case, they're going to be held liable. some form or fashion, maybe lose draft picks, a hefty fine. Deshaun Watson and the fact that he has a lot of guaranteed money, man, is interesting. So I'm interested to see how it's going to be resolved. I think best case scenario, gross negligence, like he was doing some stuff that was a little bit sketch. Worst case scenario, something even worse. And, whatever happens, I hope, the guilty parties are held accountable. But how that does relate to on the field, man, is those activities, which apparently the Texans knew about, or not Texans.
They even provided a room for him, too.
Yeah, the fact that they rented a room. And the Browns had to be doing some investigation. So either one or two things happened. The Browns didn't spend enough money finding out what happened, or they were so excited about having a for real franchise quarterback, like a top 5 quarterback when he's on the field, that they were like, yeah, we'll figure that out. You just get a suspension. We'll just have a bad year, and then you're good. So I don't know. I think it puts Baker Mayfield in a very awkward situation because of my personal opinion. We've talked about quarterback rankings. I think he's a top 15 quarterback. I think Baker Mayfield healthy with some weapons and a timing-based offense. I think he could. Obviously, he's shown he can win a playoff game. The first playoff game the Browns have won in like a long time, and it wasn't even close. They blew the Steelers out. So I mean, I think he could be a winner, but the fact that they handled it how they did is a little bit interesting. I get why he feels the way he does. So I hope that if Deshaun Watson is suspended, that Baker Mayfield comes back and just balls out. Like he balls out and can go wherever he wants to go.
Yeah.
They release him, trade him, whatever happens, he can go somewhere else and kind of be a quarterback. I mean, the Panthers is a good fit for this next quarterback draft class. There's like 4 or 5 like real first round type quarterbacks. So I don't know, man. I feel bad for Baker because he's done nothing but grind, work hard, and do his best. He ended up playing hurt last year, which you hear a lot of times people say, oh, we play hurt. Teams look for that. Him playing hurt, he got hurt. Him playing hurt his career. I think he should have just sat out, and I don't know if the same things would have happened, but I hope he can get on the field and gel with that team, and they definitely have some weapons. They have one of the best offensive lines, and they have by far the best running back field in the NFL, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Baker Mayfield, I mean, obviously he's done a few things, but compared to other quarterbacks, man, this dude ain't out there body slamming chicks or, have, rape allegations. I feel like he's kind of an easy target. You ever walked into a workplace and someone has, I try not to cuss on the show, but resting B-word face, you know what I mean? Where they just oh, that person looks like a a-hole. They don't look friendly at all. I hate them, and I didn't even speak to them. That's Baker Mayfield. You just look at his face and he, and he just looks like a pissed off, angry douchebag, right? But on the contrary, I mean, he is a heck of a hard worker. He has shown he has improved, and you mentioned a great point, Mike. He also played injured last year as well, too, right? So I'm just so puzzled by him not going to mandatory OTAs. Or are we going to see a trade happen here soon? Or I don't know, man. It's really interesting to me. Then on top of that, is Deshaun Watson even going to play this year, right? That's another thing. If I am the ownership of the Browns, I'm sweating bullets, not getting any sleep, and I'm stressed out all the time. You know what I mean? So Browns fans,
I don't understand how they would have a trade, man, because that man's making $18 million guaranteed. And if I was Baker, I wouldn't give up money. Why give up money? They put you in that situation. So it's not like Baker should be like, hey, I'm gonna just eat, get me out of here. I'll take less money. No, man, get your bag, the $18 million, keep that. So I don't know what they're gonna do, man. Baker's just gonna be sitting there behind somebody when Deshaun Watson's I don't know, man. It's gonna be curious.
Man, you know what? Hey, let's role play real quick. Okay, I'll be Deshaun Watson. You be Baker Mayfield. Let's role play. Let's just spontaneously do it, bro. All right. I'm Deshaun Watson. Your practice just ended, and I say, "What's up to you?" All right.
I'd say, "Hey, Deshaun. Hey, Deshaun. I know you like massages. I got a place up the street for recommendation, so I can get the starting job back."
I'm trying to do the right thing these days, and I purposely moved to Cleveland because I heard that the women are ugly.
That took me out, man. It took me out. That took me out. I couldn't even I don't know. Hey, Deshaun, you know what, man? We have some great activities we have here. There's a couple restaurants. That's about all we have here in Cleveland. And the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which you'll probably never get into with these allegations you have, but I'll be happy to take you around. And just so you know, this is my house, just like the commercials are saying.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I would love to hang out with you, but it's evidently you don't like me, and tonight the Cosby Show comes on, and I'll be watching that.
Like how do you?
I'm sorry, I'm done.
Like just this man was like just came out with 2 grand slams. Like
Man, no, I mean it's such a crazy situation, man. It's like, man. But moving on to Cleveland, and Cleveland fans, you watching this, comment down below. Let us know what you think. What's your thoughts on the whole Baker Mayfield situation? This is going to get weird. We haven't heard the end of it. But moving on to Miami, this is kind of old news. This happened about 4 or 5 days ago. But Tua was given some attitude when asked about his deep ball from reporters. He laid down the law. I thought it was pretty dope, to take and have Tua. Shout out to Jay the Plug. Let's go. But man, it was dope to take and have Tua, man, like kind of stand up to the media. You know what I mean? They were talking about what people say about him on Twitter and all that different stuff. What are your thoughts on Tua, Mike? Do you think it was wise for him to get cocky? You think he should have just kind of stayed under the radar? I don't know. What would you have done in that situation?
Man, I get it. I think he's been getting bashed his entire career down there without, real weapons, without a line. Like, I mean, we talked about this last year. They've had one of the worst lines for a quarterback that came into the NFL injured by a lot. Like, I mean, they had a bottom 5 line. So for them to expect, success when you're not setting this man up for success, and I don't mean you both are big advocates of like, you got a franchise quarterback, you better make sure this man has a line and you better make sure that man has weapons. If he does not have that line in place, doesn't matter who you got a receiver, you can't throw from on your back. So I'm saying that to say, like, having somebody like Tyreek Hill that came in there, giving him a bunch of support. Tua's in year 3, and this is really the time where you either take your leap or people think you're not the real deal. So, I mean, regardless if he talk trash or not, this year he's under the microscope. He has receivers. He has a phenomenal tight end room. The Dolphins pulled off some phenomenal moves for that man to have a line. He has running backs and a solid defense. Like, there's no reason they can't make the playoffs this year if he plays up to snuff. And they have an offensive genius calling plays, really, right, with Coach McDaniel. So I feel like he's going to be set up for success. I get the frustration. I like the shit talking Doug personally. Me, myself, I like it. I just want him to go out there and show everybody what's good, show him that he can actually be a franchise quarterback for y'all when he is surrounded by weapons, which when he was at Bama, had a phenomenal line, had weapons. They did work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. And we could see one of the biggest about faces, full 180 from the media if Tua balls out, man. It's not just him balling out, man. It's what the end result looks like. Because let's be real. If he balls out for 10 weeks and gets injured and his season's over, well, then guess what? They're going to be asking for a new quarterback in the offseason, right? It's like, nah, playoffs a bust. That's it. Or else Tua is on to another team next year, right? So Mike McDaniel, he's out there trying to make a name for himself as well, too, and he's taking a risk with Tua, right? So to have your quarterback let his nuts hang, I appreciate it. Excuse my language, but I appreciate it. I appreciate a quarterback who's like, nah, man, enough is enough. You can shut up. Not that he said those exact words, but – and he mentioned, like, did you see that pass? So, and we were talking about Russell Wilson not too long ago. Like, just because Russell Wilson doesn't have immediate connection with his receivers, that don't make him a garbage quarterback. It's called practice for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, you get new teammates. Look, man, remember when LeBron went to Miami? You know what I'm saying? When LeBron went to Miami, they were not winning right away. When Ray Allen went to Boston years ago, you know what I mean? They were not winning. It takes a minute sometimes, right? So, man. But, hey, shout out real quickly here to Eric Wren. Winning fixes all. Tua just needs to do what it takes for Dolphins to make the playoffs. I agree. Shout out to my guy, E on the mic. Talk about Tyreek Hill. Yes, E on the mic. Shout out to you. Thank you, sir. Tyreek Hill made a comparison. I'm not sure how I feel about this, even as a Miami Dolphins fan, that Tua is like Pat Mahomes. Big statement. Pat Mahomes. Mike, you're a Broncos fan. You watch lots of Pat Mahomes being in y'all face against him twice a year. I'm not ready to say that yet. And I see the possibilities. I see the accuracy. My biggest issue, my number one issue with Tua is that there's been times where the O-line was blocking just fine and he would hesitate.
Right.
Let that thing rip, baby. Let that thing rip, man. The O-line is going to be blocking. It's going to be zone blocking this year. It's going to be different. You know what I mean? So these OTAs and mandatory minicamp is mad important for the Dolphins. And like, this is brutal because you need to take advantage of this time. So come regular season, man, like, not only do you have new receivers that you also need to get, acquainted with, but you have new running backs. You have half of a new O-line. You got a new coach. But I'll say Tua, the swagger that he's carrying from the luau that he had about a month and a half ago, to his teammates speaking highly of him, he's in great shape, man. And I'm really excited to see how things look for the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, and it was interesting. I was looking up the quarterback, but that's what I was over here doing on my phone. But Tyreek said, and I couldn't find it, but Tyreek said, I got 150 yards with, I forgot the quarterback was a backup quarterback for the Chiefs. He said Tua was way better than that. He said Tua was 10 times that quarterback. It was I forgot. Somebody in the comments will probably help us out.
I think it was Matt Moore.
Matt Moore. That's what it was. Thank you so much. But I mean, like, let's be real. Tua on his worst day is Matt Moore on his best day, right? And something you did say with Pat Mahomes is he does hold the ball a lot. There's been sacks that he's taken that he really didn't need to take because he's always trying to make a big play. I think it's going to be a give and take. Like Tua's going to get it out on time to the place he's supposed to get it to. He's going to make the best read and get the ball to where it needs to go. And I really do believe he has a good deep ball, man. Like, you had Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, Waddle, all them in college, and he always threw them and they were running under the ball, right? So I do think he has that. It's just not having that line that he has now. This will by far be the best offense he's played in. It will be by far the best line he's had. So I think while Tyreek Hill is tripping because Tua is not a Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the top 2 quarterback in the NFL. I do believe that Tua will have a successful year, and I still think Tyreek Hill is going to eat as long as he can get to where he needs to get to.
Yeah, I feel that, man. Now, it's don't get me wrong. Like, I'm a fanboy, right? So I love Tua, but I'm a Dolphins fan first. So that's when I say I'm a Dolphins fan first. That's where I come in, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm a realist, you know what I mean? And part of me wants to be like, yes, but man, all these years of hype, Mike. I mean, since like 2014, we've been having like A+ off seasons, bro. You know what I mean? And the results haven't been fantastic, but this definitely feels different, and I'm excited to see what happens. Comment below, let me know if you agree or not. Moving on, let's talk about America's team, Dallas Cowboys. Mike, man. Have you heard anything going on in Dallas? They've been awfully quiet over there, man. Draft kind of sucked. I mean, what's going on, man?
I don't think there's much to hear, right? I hear like Zeke earlier talking about, I'm going to be back. I'm going to have a season. They lost a lot of weapons. Their line is kind of in flux, but it'll be interesting to see it. Realistically, they do go into the season, I would say, and as much as I hate to say it, and I think usually when I say stuff like this, it doesn't happen with the Cowboys, so that's good. I'm going to say it. I think they can come into the season arguably as the favorite in that division. It's going to be tough. The Eagles are they made some moves this offseason. And the Washington football team, they're kind of in an adjustment period. I'm not a big fan of Carson Wentz. Like I already told y'all, like the Wentz, W-I-N-C-E, like he always Wentzes before he gets hit and gets hurt. Because anybody that's psycho enough to get a sprained ankle on both leg or both feet on the same play,
yeah,
I mean, you want that courage, but you want a little bit more smart. So I just don't trust him to lead them a full season in a division that really knows them. But we'll see what happens. So I don't know. I think them being quiet could be a good thing because we've never heard the Cowboys be quiet, but they definitely have some growing to do. I think they have some growing to do this year, and I really am curious to see if Tony Pollard's going to – I think by the end of the season, if Zeke's not playing well, Tony Pollard can take his job. That's just being realistic because Tony Pollard has some games where he had like 10, 15 carries and had close to 100 yards. And his yards per carry the last few years have been higher than Zeke's. So I do think that's a shift they can make to make their offense a little bit more explosive. So I'm very interested to see, man, what happens with them. And I can't stand the Cowboys, but I do think they're always entertaining. Jerry Jones did a phenomenal job of that.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, man, with the Cowboys, man, I mean, Dak can put up the numbers, man. He is a fighter, and I feel like it was the season before last, man, where I was like, wow, man, he really has a great arm, man. I mean, was he a third-round draft pick when he got selected, right? And he's really excited, man. But that organization, man, starts and I hate to talk down on people, man, especially if I don't know him in real life, man. But man, Jerry Jones is just rotten, man. Like he don't know what the heck he's doing. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things where it's like I got a lot of. It's weird. Most of my friends are Cowboys fans. It's the weirdest. It crosses between like Cowboys fans and Broncos fans, right? And it's one of those things where it's like, man, like I feel for y'all, man. Like, but yeah, I should definitely be interested. Hey, shout out to Eric Wren. He says, CD, I am predicting more of a Juju after Brown type season. He should be okay, but we'll see the cornerback one without a safety pull away on the other side.
Man, I think CD is gonna ball out. I think CD is an absolute effing monster, bro. And it's not like CD is the only weapon they have. You know what I'm saying? CD is not the only weapon they have. Obviously, they have the slot receiver that's from here. I'm like tripping, bro. My brain. Let me look real quick. I don't think that they're gonna be in a bad place, and CD has done that. Oh, Michael Gallup, thank you. And they have James Washington that they got from the Steelers as well in the slot. So I think they're going to be okay. Like, even if they put more attention towards CD, I would trust him to go make plays. He's a little bit faster, more shifty Dez Bryant, in my opinion. Dez Bryant was slow, right? But he had a nose for the end zone. CD Lamb was a little bit more dynamic, and Michael Gallup is underrated. Like, there's a reason they let Amari Cooper go. There's a reason they got him out of there, because Michael Gallup is a dog. And getting James Washington, who's a speed demon. I think they're going to be okay as far as receivers go, because you got Dak. I'm just interested to see what's going to happen with their line. They've had one of the best lines for a long time, and they have a line that's aging out and injured. So if their line isn't together like it should be, they had a few pieces, but if they don't mesh right away, they're going to have a terrible season.
Yeah, absolutely, man. No, it's you bring up a good point, man. I'm going to touch up on that real quickly, and in a moment here, I have a surprise guest coming on the show. But man, like you mentioned, Michael Gallup is a beast. I agree. He's big, he's physical. He could dang near do it all. I think he's receiver one, no, but he could hold it down if in the event CD Lamb goes down. Not get the same results, but again, he is a sturdy wide receiver too, and. I remember years ago, when the Miami Dolphins, when they got was Mike Wallace, and we had we had Greg Jennings, man, we had a whole bunch of a plethora of wide receiver talent, right? And man, I was so excited, man, but like he kept trying to get the ball to like one specific guy, man, and it kind of ruins everything, right? So not saying Amari Cooper is that type of dude, man. I've heard nothing but wonderful things about Amari Cooper. I think he's gonna do some great things over in Cleveland. But yeah, man, we'll talk about this on another episode, Mike. But I'm thinking I have Dallas at probably a sturdy 10 wins. Yeah, probably like 10 wins, man. But I don't have them any higher, and potentially even missing the playoffs, man. Because Eagles are coming. Washington is low key sneaky, but I have a big question mark about Wentz, obviously. But yeah, man, it should be interesting for sure. And then, of course, I want to take and talk about the Houston Texans. You got Lovie Smith. He's been out of the league several years. Lovie Smith has been out of the league. He has a quarterback who's going into his second year, where I didn't really predict this for Davis Mills, man, but he looks really good, man. And they have probably one of the biggest UDFA classes, one of the biggest UDFA classes taken and coming in. They have tons of draft picks. Man, if you're Lovie Smith, man, your head is just spinning with excitement and possibilities. Not saying Super Bowl or anything, but Lovie Smith has a second life in the NFL again, man. And this is really exciting, man. A lot of people said, like, well, that was supposed to be Brian Flores' job. Whoop-de-whoop. But Lovie Smith, people forget, man, he built that Chicago Bears that went to the Super Bowl. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Was it 04, 05, I think it was, when they lost to the Colts? He built that team, and he maintained it for a long time. The difference is he's going to have a quarterback in Davis Mills. But what are your thoughts on the Texans, man, so far?
I think it's interesting. Like, their draft was baffling in some regards. Like, I like their Kenyon Green, the guard that they picked up. I think their line is going to be much improved. Getting John Mechie, I thought was a hell of a move. Probably the fastest receiver in this draft once he heals up. Their defense, I think, is absolutely going to be solid because Lovie Smith is your head coach, and their defense is always interesting. The question I have about this, and I know these probably are things that some people are like, man, I don't know this. I don't know how big of a difference it makes. I think Derek Stingley, you know this. Like, we've talked about this since for a couple years at this point. I still think Derek Stingley was the best corner in this draft, even though he had some injuries in college. You look at the people that man shut down that have gone on to have these great NFL careers while he was at LSU as a freshman. That talent doesn't disappear. He just gets healthy and he'll be okay. But he's more of a man corner, and they're going to be paying that Tampa 2 that Lovey's known for. And you don't need a Derek Stingley in that defense. It's not corner heavy, it's linebacker heavy. And I don't feel like they got the linebackers to run that system. So I'm saying all that to say, more likely than not, Davis Mills is going to have a solid year, and then he's going to get Baker Mayfield in the sense that they're going to draft somebody with the top 5 pick they're inevitably going to have next year because they're not going to be good. I just don't think they're going to be good. And I'm not saying that just because it's the Texans. Historically, I mean, they have Marlon Mack, Rex Burkhead, and Damian Pierce as their running backs. No running backs. You look at their receivers, they got Nico Collins, Brandon Cooks, and John Mechie. John Mechie, I think, could develop into something, but he's not going to scare anybody as a rookie. They don't have a tight end. Brevin Jordan, who went to the U, he's a dog, but his blocking isn't where it needs to be, like it could be. His receiving ability, I think if he had a quarterback, he'd be all right. But I'm saying a lot to say, man, I think they're a young team. They're probably a year or so away from making major progress. But Lovie Smith just has to make sure that he is not completely ignoring that offense. Like, they cannot have the offense the Bears had when they made the Super Bowl because they don't have a Devin Hester to return kicks, right? Like, Devin Hester really got them to the Super Bowl. If they have an offense like that, they're going to have problems this year.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, no, Devin Hester, man, for Hall of Fame all day, bro. That guy, I understand he's a return man, but, dude, he was locked down, man. I've never seen someone do it that good for that long. You know what I mean? He returned kicks for the Falcons. He returned kicks for all teams that he was on, man. So he was loads of fun to take and watch. And then we'll wrap up the episode here shortly, man. But man, what are your thoughts on a team like the Jets, man, where you're coming from? I know we talked about the Texans. They're coming from the sunken place, and then they're trying to be relevant again, right? And then of course you got the Jets over there in the AFC East, man. What are your thoughts on them?
I don't. This is.
They had a great draft too, but much like the Texans.
Yeah, I honestly think that the Jets had the best draft, bro. Like, you think about the players they got they got Sauce Gardner, they got the linebacker, bro. I'm like really tripping.
No, it's all good. I'll pull it up.
Yeah, So they got Kayvon Thibodeau. I think that was a steal. Getting Sauce Gardner.
Trayvon Walker, Aiden Hutchins. Oh no, sorry, those are other teams. My bad. Oops. Pulling it up here.
Here we go. I'm like on the wrong places, man.
No, you good. Okay, I got it. Kayvon Thibodeau, Ahmad Sauce Gardner, Zion Johnson, Jalen Petrie. That's just the first 4 picks.
Yeah, I think, bro, the stuff that the Jets did, like Sauce
Breece Hall, don't forget him.
Yeah, Sauce Gardner is going to be like, and Breece Hall probably will start right away. Like, they'll split carries because they have a good running back room. What's going on, man?
What's happening, guys?
Hey, real quickly, Mike, we're gonna come back to that conversation. I want to introduce a very special guest. He just has a few quick minutes with us here today. This dude is super dope, man. He has a super dope podcast. His name is Jay the Plug. He's interviewed greats like T-Pain, like Grammy Award-winning T-Pain, and a lot of dope artists, man, from music to football, you name it. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome Jay the Plug. What's going on, man?
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me, bud. I got all pumped out. I'm sorry I missed your call earlier, Doug, man. I was like, crap, what happened? Then I saw that you wanted me to come through, man. I appreciate the invite, fellas. How y'all doing?
No doubt. Hey, super great to have you on. I want to ask you, you're a diehard Saints fan, man, so I really want to take and get into it. And you're like a real insider, man. Like, you got the Darren Waller jersey in the background. Like, you cool with a lot of these NFL players, so you have a lot of inside info. Before we get into that, tell the good folks where they can find your channel.
Oh, man. I started up with the Fantasy Football Network, FFN. They started putting my stuff on YouTube with their channel. So you can see the link in my bio, or what is it? I'm sorry, man. I'm terrible at this stuff. But on IG,
that's okay.
Is mainly where I'm at. You can look at Plugged In with Jay on Instagram, and then the Fantasy Plug 1 on Twitter. I don't mess with TikTok just because I just never have.
Yeah.
And just chilling, man. Y'all find me anytime you want on IG. I'm down to help anybody with whatever they want. Hop on the show like what I'm doing now, man. I've been wanting to come on yours for a while, Doug. What's happening?
I know, man. Hey, yo, it's been man, I've been It's been about a year, bro. I brought you on one time, and it was like 10 other people, and it ended up being one of my worst shows ever. I was like, oh, this is a terrible.
Dang, bro.
You remember that show, Mike? You was there.
Yeah, man.
People were
What's
talking over
happening,
each other.
What's going on, man? You doing all right?
Yeah, man. Everything's good, man. Dude, just man, the whole spring was crazy, man. Lots of interviews, man, and then I'm coming off of a 3-week break, man. So I'm feeling all like a noodle, man. Just feeling loose, man. So good to be back in the podcasting, you know.
That's what's up, man.
But,
I've been
man,
noticing your interviews been dope, dude. I've been watching a lot of them, getting a lot of insight on these college players coming into the league, dude. It's big time, man. I'm impressed.
Thank you, man. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it, man. And likewise, man, you be killing it, man. I saw your guy. He went to Seattle. It was you Virginia.
Who Blunt?
Yeah, Blunt.
Yeah. He ended up going to Seattle. I'm gonna have him on again here pretty soon. I've got a few interviews coming. I've got Ricky Waters is gonna be on. I did Johnny Stanton, who's a fullback for the Browns. Hopefully going to get Myles Garrett here shortly. Going to have Darren on again. Got Willie Galt, which was a lot of fun. Tano Passignon, the one of the defensive ends for the Saints that we're about to talk about. Yeah, man, I've been talking to him a lot about the OTAs and stuff, and it's been I'm pretty happy with what I'm hearing.
That's sick, man. That is sick. Yeah, no, man. It's and folks, man, I'm about to post this link here in the chat. And my boy E on the mic was good, man. But yeah, man, E is good people, man. That is my dog right there, man. Good freaking dude, man. But yeah, man. What are your thoughts on the Saints, man? What are your thoughts on the New Orleans Saints, man? Jameis Winston, I did not think he would be named the starter this year, if I'm being honest. I totally had y'all getting like a quarterback in the draft, and that did not happen. So what are your thoughts on the New Orleans Saints? A lot of new additions, very exciting team that's happening right now. Talk to me.
Yeah, I'm no offense to any of the QBs that got drafted this season. They're all amazing talents. I'm kind of glad that we didn't reach for a quarterback. Jameis has shown that he can be a playoff QB, and with the receivers at the caliber that we have and the offense that we have, I think he has all the weapons that he needs to get us to where we need to go. I don't believe that, and I hate to say it, I don't believe that we're a Super Bowl team right now. Jameis just has to stay healthy. He'll put the ball out there. I've been hearing a lot about Jarvis Landry being the guy out in the receiver core. Like Mike Thomas, he's still, there's always going to be all this coach speak about Mike Thomas not being completely healthy or, whatever. But from what I heard from an actual player who sees him every day, that he is doing great. He's cutting well. He's running well. He's looking like Mike Thomas of the days of old. And I'm hoping that, we see him on the field. But the way that I feel, burn me once, then burn me twice. It's like, oh, all right, cool. If you're there, awesome. If not, it is what it is. But I'm really excited that Jarvis came back home to Louisiana, the boot, baby.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that he's back. Olave has been burning dudes on the – I mean, like he's supposedly this kid cannot be covered. So I'm really excited about that. He's been, he's been compared to Terry McLaurin. And if you follow me in fantasy, because I'm big in fantasy football, as most people know, well, I don't know if they know or not or care, but I am. And I love Terry McLaurin, man. Love me some Terry McLaurin. He's been compared to Terry. They're from the same school. They're from they played together. They know each other pretty well. And I love that comparison because having that on the field, especially with a guy with an arm like Jameis Winston, he loves to air it out, man. Loves to air it out. So with a dude who can catch the ball and slant down the field, be a leader like Jarvis Landry, Olave coming in as a hot little rookie. You got Alvin Kamara, who's going to ball out. Even if he misses 4 games, if he's suspended, whatever, he's still Alvin Kamara. Jameis is a good enough quarterback, I think, to lead us to the playoffs at least. We've got a strong defense. The defense is incredible. They've added some pieces. I think we're a solid team. I think we're going to end up getting to the playoffs. I think we're maybe going to get to the first round, and that's going to be kind of like last season, but it's going to show a lot of promise and how people need to watch out for us at least the following season, which I hate to say the following season. Yeah. But we're definitely rebuilding, and I think we're I think we're going in the right direction. I think our new coach, he's defensive minded. Came up from he's a D coordinator. I think he's going to do great things. I really do. He knows how Peyton coached the offense. That's what he knows, and I think he's going to continue to do it the way that he did it before.
I do have one question for you, man, because like one of my favorite picks the entire draft was Trevor Penning. Absolute dog, bro. One of the nastiest linemen in this draft. And I'm like big on linemen. Like, what have you heard about how he's playing? I know obviously OTA's training camp right now, not too physical, so they're not gonna really get to see his game. But have you heard good things about him so far?
I've heard some awesome things about him. I've heard more about his weight room presence. The dude is just he's got his own he's got his own section is what I've heard. Is like people will just basically spot him and then go to their own areas. Like this dude is just a monster. Quick feet, good hands, can chop. I mean, he's just a great player. I'm really happy with that pick. I think he's going to be a great Saint for years and years to come, man. But yeah, he's definitely coming up. He'll be a intricate pog in the in the Saints. What can I say? Clockwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, man.
It's gonna fall out.
Yeah, no, man. Shout out to CJ Holmes and Eric Wilson, man. They're both UDFAs on the Saints right now, man. And I spoke with CJ probably like a week or so ago, man, and he's doing really well. And it's good for him to. I mean, that was his team growing up, so him to play for his hometown team, man. But you brought on a really good UDFA class, one of the bigger ones in the league. I want to point that out, man. So there's going to be a lot of obviously draft picks. That's your meat and potatoes of guys they're going to be on the team. You know that. Yeah. But then of course there's your UDFA, and it's an aggressive class. A lot of teams pass up on a lot of strong dudes, man. So it's going to be exciting to see what the final 53-man roster looks like for y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Quick question, man, before you go, man. Jameis Winston, man, 30 touchdowns, over, under. What you got?
Over.
Okay, gotcha.
I agree with that. 17 games? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, 17 games. Winston is going to air it out. But like I said, with the ball catches he's got, man, with the receivers, it's lights out.
Yeah, over under 20 picks.
I'm gonna go under on that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna go under this hard.
It'll be close. It'll be close. It'll be like two really bad games.
Yeah. He's been, man, with being under Breeze and the tutelage of Sean Payton. You look at his numbers. I mean, he's been real strong. He's just got to stay healthy. He's got to stay healthy. His TD to pick ratio drastically changed whenever he started playing after being with Peyton. So I'm thinking I think under 20.
Yeah.
I hope.
I got him at like I give him like 16 interceptions, but it'll be up there, But I think he's gonna do great, man. I actually have y'all possibly winning, man, like 11, maybe even 12 games, man. I mean, y'all
take that.
Yeah,
I'm
excited. I'm excited for y'all, man. Big things for you guys. And then you got, real quick, man. I want to speak on Smoke Monday from Auburn. How was he not drafted at least in the 4th round? How the heck did y'all get him, man? Beast, absolute
grace of God, dude. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, dude, what? All it's a steal. Like you get like the Saints are very good at stealing players. Look at Kamara when they drafted him.
Yeah.
I mean, we get real lucky. We have great drafts. Like I can't really think of a draft that we had a really bad draft except for whenever we traded the farm for Ricky Williams, but Ricky Williams still balled out. I mean,
Yeah,
so we're not afraid to go for it, dude. We're not afraid to go after what we want.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jay, man, I know you short on time, man, but man, I thank you so much for taking and joining me here today. Real quick, man, I'm going to take and post your stuff here on the screen. Folks, I did put in the section right here in the comments. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the Fantasy Football Network. Follow Jay the Plug on Instagram as well, too. He's on there. He's really active, man. Like, I'm talking high-profile interviews, great fantasy football advice. Please take a minute before you can subscribe to my channel. Hit my boy up, man. He's really good people for sure, man.
Man, I appreciate you guys. Thank y'all so much for having me, guys. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Anytime, man. Have a blessed day. Yes, sir.
You too, brother. Who dat?
Who that? Who that said they gonna beat them Saints?
Yeah, baby.
Have a good one, brother. Man, ladies and gentlemen, that was Jay the Plug, man. Real good friend of mine. Sorry again, Mike. I didn't mean to interrupt you there, man.
No, that's good. That dude is huge too. He looks like he could be playing, some football, bro. Like he could be a left guard or something, man.
Bro, he is a huge guy. Fun fact, he sold Tua the Escalade, I think it was, that he gave to his parents or whatever down in Miami, man. So he's super plugged up, man. Darren Waller, him and they've done multiple interviews together. Austin Eckler, bunch of cats, man. So he's a lot of fun, man. But yeah, check my boy Jay the Plug out on Instagram too. He's super heavy on there. Best fantasy football advice, and a dude could probably do fantasy football as a full-time job. He's that dope with it for sure, man. And as we wrap up the episode, I want to take and talk on, we're supposed to have him on the show here today, but I did have it in the thumbnail. Carson Wentz and the Washington Commanders. Is Carson Wentz ready to take command for the Commanders? Have you heard any news down in Washington, Mike? I
know that they have a very good receiving room. And we talked about this last year. They definitely have a type. They definitely have a type of receiver they like. That Terry McLaurin's probably their biggest receiver. They got those short, kind of fast guys. I think, man, if their line balances out, they didn't have a terrible line. They had probably like a top 15 line somewhere, right? I just think that Carson Wentz is going to be the key to that team, man. Like if he can stay healthy and he can make, he can play like he did in that Eagles Super Bowl run, then I think it'll be an interesting season. I don't think that they'll make the playoffs, but I think they have a very good shot of disrupting teams' playoff chances. You know what I'm saying? I think they're going to be one of them teams that's like right on the bubble, of a wild card spot. And I really do believe that they're going to like disrupt a lot of teams, but it really does depend, man, honestly, on Carson Wentz. And I thought they were going to get rid of Ron Rivera. They didn't. So I think going into next year, depending on where their draft lands, I think even if they have a top 15 pick, they could get a quarterback that's better than Carson Wentz, because this is a very deep offensive line draft. This is a very deep, this 23 draft I'm talking is a deep offensive line draft and a very deep quarterback draft. So I think they have the potential, man, to like next year, not this season, but the following season. I know Jay said I don't like to talk about the following season, but I think that season they're going to be a scary team.
Yeah, man. No, they're obviously I love what they're doing on defense, man. That D-line is just solidified, man. That keeps them in a lot of games. Carson Wentz, I think the first, you got to come out the gate roaring, man. Those first 4 or 5 games of the season, man, like don't get behind, man, because you are also in a very competitive division. The Giants are no freaking joke. They're really building, and I know Daniel Jones is a big question mark. He's in a Tua Tagovailoa type situation. Hey, now or never, right? So you have that. Then you have the Eagles, who have, oh my gosh, they're just winning, bro. Like free agency, the draft, man. Jalen Hurts, again, in a Tua type situation. It's now or never, much like Wentz's, right? Then of course the Cowboys, they're in a rebuilding state, but they're a very devious team, and they can sneak in some upsets for sure, right? So for me, man, one thing I love that they were trying to. I noticed this a little bit with the Washington media. They're trying to take and get people to say bad stuff about Wentz and stuff, and then of course, you have the who's the dude who made those stupid comments? Jack Del Rio.
Yeah, he ended up deleting his Twitter, man.
Yeah, man, he's a wild one for sure, man. So you have that, but I love the unity on that team. I will say that. Right now, I probably have them at 10, maybe 11 wins. I'm not sure. Maybe making a wild card spot, but again, we'll talk about it in another episode. But that will be interesting. But I did want to circle back to the Jets topic. Shout out to E on the mic for reminding me. The Jets, you got a quarterback who is, they didn't even want to start him all last year. They have Mike White coming at one point, right? And then of course, you get an embarrassment, Breece Hall. The O-line is. Suspect, but
I think their O-line is underrated, bro. Like I think they got if Mekhi Becton is healthy.
I agree with that, dude. He is a mauler. Mekhi Becton, healthy Mekhi Becton is a top 5 mauler in the league. You know what I'm saying? Like hands down. Like this is me putting my Miami Dolphins bias aside. Like he is an absolute beast. But yeah, if they could stay healthy, man, they could do some really, really good things, man, for sure. But man, Sauce Gardner, I was really disappointed that he went to the Jets. So pissed off, man. I'm so angry. I was like, when I saw that, man, I was like, dang it. Ah! Because I'm like, this dude got Jalen Ramsey type. Man, I see Jalen Ramsey. You know what I'm saying? Like, he got Breece Hall, Kayvon Thibodeau, which I don't think it's going to be.
Kayvon Thibodeau, that was my bad, bro. He went to the Giants. I was just wrong. New York.
Oh, he did. Oh, dang. Okay,
that was they got Jermaine Johnson though from Florida State.
He's ahead of You know what it is, Mike? We getting old, man. We in our 30s now, bro. You know what I'm saying? We got to cut ourselves some slack, man. but yeah, no, definitely crazy, man. Well, Mike, man, thank you so much for coming on the show. And everybody, man, make sure you go down, subscribe, man. If you want to take and join the community as well, too, prices are down below, man. You can take and hit that join button. You can do that as well. But subscribe, comment below. Let me know if you agree. If there's something you want us to cover on future episodes, we'll be more than happy to take and do so. Mike, let the good folks know where they can follow you on social media as well, man.
Man, my social media is the worst, if I'm being honest, but at mwells21 on Twitter is probably the best place to follow me. I got a TikTok. I don't know how to work it yet, Doug. You just talked about how it's being old. My daughter's going to help me figure it out. And Instagram is mwells2189, I believe. So Twitter's probably the best place because you'll see me bantering with Soup on there and Isaac on there and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yes, sir. Mike, man, thank you so much. And for everybody, thanks for watching another episode of Touchdown with Doug Smith, Touchdown Nation. I love you. It's my first live show. Mike, that we've done in here in a while, man. So we'll start getting these a little bit more frequent out to you. Got a fun series coming out here, too. It's our season predictions. It's very exciting. We're going to do it each division at a time. So it'll be an 8-episode series. I'll probably be starting that roughly no later than mid-July. I'd hope to get all those episodes out. So I'll continue my UDFA series and any other OTA stories that are going on throughout the league, man. So and then, of course, we got one interview coming up here within the next week or two, surprise interview. So y'all wait for that as well, too. So God bless you guys. Good night. Catch you next time on the Touchdown with Doug Smith. Peace.